Are y'all sick and tired yet? Are y'all sick and tired of the division? Are you sick and tired of media talking heads telling you what you should think, how you should think, what to put on your Facebook profile, to virtue signal every single thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing? Are you pissed off that they keep putting social issues down our throat to keep us away from the issues that we actually could come together on? And if you're not pissed off, why aren't you?
You know you don't like high gas prices. You know you don't like these high food prices. And you know you don't like open borders, but the Democrats, just because they're the ones punishing you, is good to you unless it was Trump. Now, if it was Trump, it'd be a different story. Liberals are supposed to be the ones who are anti-war, anti-this and anti-that, and they're fighting for democracy, and they're voting in the most unliberal, one of the biggest war hawks out there. I mean, it's almost comparing them to people in the Ku Klux Klan back in the day. How can liberals or black people get mad at how they thought back then when they have the same mentality now? It's like history repeating itself.
The change starts with us. If Trump's the guy this year, which I think he is, if they don't kill him first, I think he should be the president again. And if he doesn't fix the problem, if he doesn't lock up all these people that have been corrupt, then we lock him up and find someone that will. Stop hanging your head on virtue signaling and thinking you're doing something. You're not. In fact, you're a worse person for it, not a better.
The world is coming to an ugly, dark place, man.
My question still remains. Why aren't you pissed off? How are you not pissed off yet? And when will you get pissed off enough to actually do something about it? Welcome back to Spartan Leadership. I'm your host, Josh Kosnick, and today we got a leadership in review. So that means the greatest man alive, Emmanuel Whitfield, is in the building.
Good day, mates. I feel like I'm from Australia. Good day, mates.
Look, I can't see your legs, and no one can see my upper body. We're both wearing camo today. So, all right, y'all. So leadership in review. If this is your first time joining Spartan Leadership, we do these once a month. We discovered that in cigar lounges, we could have contentious conversations and walk out still friends, which is not something that's that common nowadays in America. So we decided that on my normal conversations, our leader-to-leader conversations, which are 3 of the 4 episodes a month, in these, we're going to show you how to talk about contentious topics, explore how our political overlords are mostly failing us, and as it pertains to leadership. But we'll talk about anything contentious and give our opinions and takes on those. And you don't have to agree with it. That's okay. But we're going to give our takes, and we'll sometimes invite some friends in to join us and have some good dialogue and contentious conversation. And guess what? We walk out friends.
Yeah, and we do tolerate people who are ignorant and uneducated. We don't discriminate. We don't discriminate.
I mean, as long as you can state your opinion and actually stand behind it.
Yeah, a lot of people can't do that.
Now that we found that to be, you know what's interesting about that? I'll state this out loud. You and I have talked about this. Is I thought it was going to be super easy because I picked you specifically because I wanted diversity on the show, but also you're a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And there, you know, at the time when we talked about it, like in Madison, there weren't a lot of black Trump supporters. Now that's a growing number.
Yeah.
But I thought the easier co-host to find would be the liberal co-host. You know what's interesting about liberals in Madison? They don't like to stand behind their word on camera.
No, they don't. And they don't live up to the lies that they spew. I'm not saying everything they do is lies, but, you know, it's easy to tell lies behind closed doors. But to be able to back them up, that's why they run and hide, you know. You can always tell a lie from a closed room instead of in front of someone that can challenge that lie. Oh, speaking of that, we smoking cigars. You kind of beat me to the punch. You were talking about our first sponsors, the Tasting Room. Compliments from Jason. These were the first cigars that he sponsored us with. He told me to make sure I give you these, so put these in the humidor. So I was like sitting over here so pissed when you were like, we're gonna have to get them. I'm trying to surprise you. But yeah, thank you, Jason and Adam and everybody over at the Tasting Room, Rachel, Reed, and all.
Hooked it up. We got some Monte Cristo 1935 anniversaries, and Liga Privada.
So he did good?
Number 9s are, I think, of Ligas, these number 9s are the best.
Oh, he said he was going to hook us up with some good ones. So he'll be providing us, every show we do, he'll be providing us a couple cigars. So make sure you put those in the humidor. You ruined my surprise because you were like beating me to the punch. And I'm over here like, damn it. I was trying to hide it, Frey. And one more surprise from my boy Peter. Everyone knows I'm a Trump fan. And this is my newest gear. I will be rocking this. So when you see this handsome black guy wearing this right here, I'm for real. I'm not a fake Trump supporter. And all you fake Joe Biden lovers, you don't have gear like this. You don't really care about Joe Biden. You really don't care or like Joe Biden. I love Donald Trump. I wish I had the gold shoes to go along with it.
I was going to say, what do you think about those shoes?
Oh, I'm going to order a pair. I'm getting a pair. But this right here, thank you, Peter. I will be rocking this. Hopefully no one eggs me because I'm a big black guy. I'll run you down.
Charles Barkley said he's going to punch you in the face.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Well, like Kanye said, Charles Barkley's bought and paid for and can be controlled.
Exactly. Big old dummy. Let me tell you something, Shaq. Let me tell you something.
So what we are smoking today, I got an Opus X Tiger Shark. And I gave you a Tabernacle, the David. 2 fantastic cigars. Again, if you can find them, Tabernacle's a boutique brand that's just tremendous. I love it. And then Opus X, always a classic. Very, very good.
This is a good cigar. You can't find this around here anywhere, can you?
Lake Country over in Delafield is where I found
heading toward Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Okay. Might have to take a ride down there and get some of these.
And there might be some online spots as well, but yeah. So check them out. All right. So I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here for a minute, and then we'll get into some contentious topics. So I'm very curious. Are y'all sick and tired yet? Are y'all sick and tired of the division? Are you sick and tired of media talking heads telling you what you should think, how you should think, what to act, what to put on your Facebook profile, to virtue signal every single thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing? Are you sick of being immigrants being led into this country without being checked and vetted, that are raping and killing our young women? Not all of them. Don't take that out of context. We're going to talk more about that because the ones that are criminals and being let into our country are making it 10 times worse for the good ones that are here. So don't take that out of context, but you should be pissed off. You should be. Are you pissed off that now that they've come out and said COVID was the flu and they locked us up for 2 years?
Yeah.
And ran the biggest psychological propaganda machine in the history of the world.
Can I say what you really wanted to say? The biggest mind fuck ever. Just crazy what they did with that.
Well, we still have people here in Madison that are wearing masks.
I saw that.
And that's the thing is like, they screwed you up into believing this. And now you're still wearing a mask thinking that it somehow protects you when the science already came out and said that it doesn't.
Yeah.
And you're wearing it outside and not getting the good shit in your lungs, the fresh air. Are you pissed off yet? Are you pissed off that they keep putting social issues down our throat to keep us away from the issues that we actually could come together on? Did you ever notice that they do that? Whether it's abortion, whether it's gun control, whether it's whatever, LGBTQ, DE&I, all these different social issues instead of the economy. Instead of everything that actually matters to all of us, not just a portion of us. And if you're not pissed off, why aren't you? Are you not pissed off about the prices of everything? That it's actually affecting your household, your ability to save for retirement, your ability to save for your kids' education, your ability to just live on a day-to-day basis, to pay off debt, to take a vacation with your family, to create core memories that could last a lifetime. Again, if you're not pissed off, why aren't you?
Because a lot of people, what do they call that? Munchausen syndrome, where you capture, you start to like the people that abuse you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's pretty much what's going on right now. It's like, you don't like high gas prices. You don't like these high food prices. And you don't like open borders, but it's the captures, the people who got you captivated, the Democrats, just because they're the ones punishing you is good to you unless it was Trump. Now, if it was Trump, it'd be a different story. They would hate open borders. They would hate gas prices. I look at Adam Schiff right now. They're electing him in California. Now, liberals are supposed to be the ones who are anti-war and anti-this and anti-that. and they're fighting for democracy, and they're voting in the most unliberal, one of the biggest war hawks out there. And that's what they're voting for now. So they don't know how to look in the mirror and say, wow, we really, I mean, it's almost comparing them to people in the Ku Klux Klan back in the day. How can liberals or black people get mad at how they thought back then when they have the same mentality now? It's the same mentality. When you can hate someone because of their political views, just the way the Ku Klux Klan hated people just because they were black. Now you got judges that will fry someone just because they're Republican, or, you know, DAs charge someone just because of their political views. It's like history repeating itself. Now the minority are Republicans because the Republicans that's supposed to represent the Republican Party, they're on the same page. All of those governors in Colorado, in Atlanta, they hate Donald Trump. They don't stand up for civil liberties. Ruin his game, or they'll ruin their game. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the judges, though. Let's talk about this judgment on Trump that was $355 million.
You would know way more about that than me, so I want to hear about that.
So, okay. So for those that are unaware or just got the liberal take, the talking points on the media, a very liberal judge that I believe was in charge of another trial so somehow Trump gets sued on these, 90 counts of fraud?
Unbelievable. With no victim.
With no victim. So get this. So so you probably saw the blurb that he was to owe $355 million, and he was found guilty on 90 counts, and that's probably all you looked into it. Now, here's what I want to say. If Trump is guilty of that, and I'm going to talk to the upper middle class white stay-at-home moms for a minute, then your husband belongs in jail too.
Yeah.
And here's why. Every single one of us that has ever filled out a personal financial statement, or PFS for short, to get a loan from a bank, we round up at the very least what our property value or what our account values are. So on a personal financial statement, you have to fill out, well, hey, what do you have on your 401k? What do you have in mutual funds? What do you have in stocks? Yeah. What is your real estate worth?
Yeah.
And every single time you either round up, let's say it's worth 1.25, you round up, or 1.255, you round up to 1.3.
Yeah.
Or if you think it's worth, like last assessment was this, so if I think it's worth 1.5 and the bank comes back to me and says, well, I think it's really worth 1.
It's
but
up
either
to the
way,
banks to rate what it's worth.
Correct. But it's a negotiation.
Yeah.
Banks and consumers do it all the time. Yeah. Business owners, real estate developers, which Trump is. And they do it all the time, and it's a posturing game. It's because you're trying to get as much loan money as possible.
Try that with a credit card. Right. Say you're worth $1.5 million. I want a black card. That bank gonna come back to me and say, "Nope, you're worth $12,000. You're not getting that black
you
card."
Can't do that for a credit card. But but loans from a bank, especially when you're dealing in real estate, your husband or me or Trump or
like you say, it's a negotiation. It's up to the bank to tell you if it's worth it.
You round up and or you put on the maximum value you think it's worth because you're trying to get as maximum loan value as possible on either an equity loan or a real estate, whatever it may be. So that being said, if Trump is guilty, this judge just set a precedent that every single one of us that has ever filled out a PFS at a bank are now guilty and should be either fined that amount or go to prison ourselves.
I heard even deeper than that. They said everyone that's selling a house, you have to start stating exactly how much the house is worth now. You know how you post your house and say, my house is worth 1.5.
Because the real estate agent says, we think we should list it at this.
Yeah.
You know that it's probably not going to go for that. In a strong real estate market, it does, or potentially you get in a bidding war. But
it's up to the consumer.
It's a buyer. It's a willing buyer and a willing seller.
Yeah.
And so that's the point of it is, though. So if you hate Trump that much that you were blinded and you think that he deserves this, then so does your husband, or so does your wife, or so does your dad. Every single person that has ever overinflated or said the higher amount on a PFS to a bank is guilty of what Trump did.
That doesn't register with liberals, though.
Well, I'm trying to make it register for them.
It's going through one ear and out the other. I just felt it go through all of their ear. It came right back here to me.
So here's the thing with it is, like, you can't sit there and have such a blind hate for someone that you think that is okay and not think that it's going to come back to bite you.
A lot of people don't expect karma. They don't expect that boomerang effect. And when that boomerang effect come back and hit you, just like all the people who wanted open borders, that boomerang came back and got them. The puff daddies of the world who clapped and jumped for joy when they changed the New York law just to get Trump, and had that statute of limitation upheld for one more year, just one more year so we can get Trump. A law they never changed before because of the statute of limitation would run out. And Puff Daddy and all the Democrats, they jumped for joy. Guess what happened? It was one day before Cassie could put her lawsuit in against Puff Daddy. Yep. It came back like a house of cards on him.
I want to talk about that other lawsuit with Trump, though, because that's another BS thing. Mm-hmm. So, but I want to close the point on this one is, again, if you have such a blind hatred for someone that you think weaponizing our judicial system to do that to a person, you don't think that can come back to bite you or all of us? You are out of your mind.
It's sad. It's sad. It's so sad, Josh. You hit a good point there when people will give up their civil liberties because of someone else that they don't like. It's just because of someone they don't like. And it hurts me so bad because I had to find out about history, how black men didn't stand a chance of something they didn't do, all because Southern states, and now you hear it, they flat out say it. You can't win a trial as a Republican in New York. So it's saying New York is so fucking biased that they could skip all the facts. You won't be able to win a trial. What the hell? So if you say, if a black man get caught in wherever, Wyoming, wherever, he don't stand a chance. Our judicial system should not be like that. They always talk about a Trump appointee or a Biden appointee. It shouldn't I don't care who appointed someone. You're there to uphold the law. That's right. You're not there to uphold parties. It's getting so bad. And it's us as the people who are legitimizing that, and they really don't understand. Yeah. They need to look in the mirror. Like I always compare them to the Ku Klux Klan. You're no better than the Ku Klux Klan when you can watch an innocent person go to jail for something they didn't do. It's crazy. So
there's this and if you guys want to look at this, there's a picture floating around the internet that's actually a really good depiction. So there's this, if you picture Mar-a-Lago is what they were saying that he lied about what it was worth.
18 million.
Said it was worth 18 million when it should be worth
a lot is worth 18
hundreds of millions. There's this. That's my point, though. There's this picture. So Mar-a-Lago is this massive, massive estate, and there's this picture where there's a small house, small white house that's that looks like just a blip.
Yeah.
Behind it, and that's listed at 41 million.
Right, just a little blip.
Just a little blip.
Wow.
Like it's a complete hack job of our judicial system, and the pendulum always swings back. Always. Throughout history, it always swings back. So if you're sitting here rooting for him to be treated like this, it's going to swing back and it's going to go against you. So let's go to E. Jean Carroll then. She comes out. Before I move on from that, actually, the banks in that lawsuit, if you heard them, they all came back and said,
they testified for Trump.
They testified
for
him on his behalf.
We made money off of this guy.
We made money. We said they were never late on a loan. They never missed a loan payment.
And we'd love to have them again.
And we'd love to do business with them again.
But this is another thing they're trying to do, man. It's just so sad. Just after that, our Supreme Court needs to really step our game up. The Supreme Court shouldn't be so divided. Facts are facts at the end of the day. I don't give a fuck. Let me watch my friend. I don't care if you're liberal, conservative. It's about facts, not your feelings. And the Supreme Court should never be that divided. I can see a little Roe versus Wade, a little something like that. They were 9-0, but they still don't want to stand up and stop that rolling ball of the liberals, of the Democratic side, who's out of control, who along with the Republicans. But after they came back with that 9-0 ruling, look at a lot of liberal Congress people are already trying to find a way around that. Even the Supreme Court judgment's not good enough for them. And what they're trying to do in New York is taint, just in case Trump gets elected again, they're trying to stick it to him so bad because Hunter Biden can get his stuff paid off by oligarchs, lawyers. They can pay all his stuff out. Democrats don't say anything about that. So even if like somebody, I don't care if the Saudis step in, because it's like, stick it to you. You're trying to screw this man over. But if anyone loans him that money, they're going to say, oh, he's compromised. So-and-so came in, he owes them a favor. His presidency. So that's what they're trying to do now. Trying to make it tough for any bank to loan him the money. Adam, his son-in-law, they just trying to say he's bought now. Because Vladimir Putin can give him money. China can give him money. They give the Bidens money, but they're trying to taint that already and make it hard. Hopefully he can get that money up. It's just, you know more about the number. What type of numbers are they throwing at this man? Let them know.
Well, the $355 million was the judgment.
But what about the taxes every day that it's not paid?
It's over, I think it's over $100,000 each day on penalties. So they're trying to bankrupt his...
Is that legal?
Well, currently it is. So they're trying to bankrupt his funds because they know they're trying to hamstring him in this presidential campaign. So that's why they're doing what they're doing. By the way, I actually looked it up the day that judgment came in. I looked up the state of New York's total debt, and it was just over $400 million.
Yeah. So they trying to make Trump pay their whole total.
Right. Essentially. Wow. I looked it up because there's a debt clock that you guys could look up for the U.S. or any state that's in debt. And so New York is obviously in the most debt, actually maybe California, but they're in a top 2 of debt, and they're trying to get it paid off by Josh, one person.
When you have people on appeals courts that are so biased and ignorant. Look at it in Colorado. The appeals court said you can keep someone. I mean, come on. You can get a first-year law student. Matter of fact, you can get a third grader to understand that. If you haven't been convicted or charged for insurrection, you cannot kick someone off for insurrection. And you got an appeals court that upheld that.
We'll get to that.
Are you crazy?
So let's talk about the Eugene Carroll case. I don't remember the numbers on what he was supposed to pay here. This is a woman that, they got to accuse him of rape.
No evidence.
But even herself in interviews and in the courtroom said, I was not physically raped. This was more of a mental rape.
Fantasy of hers.
Yes.
She said rape is sexy in one interview.
Yes. And on CNN.
Yeah. And then it was a script. It was an exact same script from a movie. Whatever movie it was, the woman had the same fantasy. It was the same dressing room. It was the same store. And it was in a movie that she took it from.
So again, if you're rooting for Trump to be guilty of that, which he obviously was not. And if you've seen any of this woman's interviews, she is batshit crazy.
Wait till it happened to one of their sons.
Wait till it happens to your son.
Yeah, wait till a girl say, he didn't really rape me. I just thought he did. And
I had a dream that he did.
Yeah, and he's going to jail for that. Or getting fined
in the bankruptcy. So it just doesn't make sense. So let's go to real quick as we go down these court cases of what they're really trying to do. The insurrection, let's talk about that real quick. Insurrection, right? So everyone on the news media talked about insurrection.
I don't know how it even got this far. And you know why the ball keeps rolling on this stuff? Because the Republicans go right along with it. Like it's something true, All
right. So correct, because we talk about the establishment and how most of them are playing for the same team.
You were so right about Fox News when you put me up on that. I watched them the other day. They were so pissed Nikki Haley's not winning. Fox is pissed off. Yeah. They're pissed.
Well, because the Koch brothers and most of the Republican donors bankrolled her. Think about that. She didn't have that money. Mm-hmm. Bankrolled $76 million in like one state or just a couple states.
Yeah.
That's real money that people contributed to her.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about this insurrection thing though. I want people to read. They were very careful and very genius in the words they used. Okay. So immediately on January 6th, they started calling it insurrection because they wanted this to go down in history as that so that they could use this against him after they cheated in the last election.
It's a political motivation. Yep.
To, if anything, if he was to run again, to keep him off the ballot. So let's read the definition of an insurrection. An organized and usually violent act of revolt or rebellion against an established government or governing authority of a nation, state, or other political
with
entity.
Weapons.
By a group, well, that's where violent comes in, right? Of its political entity by a group of citizens or subjects. Also, any act of engaging in such a revolt, which, all right, so could you remind me who the president was on January 6th of 2021?
I would think Joe Biden. Or was Donald Trump? Oh yeah, he did that. He was still the president.
So how could you commit an insurrection?
I just remembered that. I'm glad you read that to me. Yeah.
How could you commit an insurrection against yourself?
Yeah. And
Pause for effect. How can one commit an insurrection against themselves?
It's like taking a piss and saying you raped yourself.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And then why wouldn't we be able to see all the videotapes if it was that bad?
Oh, I saw some of the videotapes where they were walking around taking selfies.
But just think about that overall. So we have someone that was actually the sitting president that is supposedly being accused of insurrecting against himself.
With no defense counsel.
When all he said was to let your voices be heard.
Peacefully and patriotically.
Yes.
Quick story about that. I'm in the cigar room, tasting room. My buddy Greg Badger, I think he was supposed to, Greg Banks, he was supposed to be coming in here one day, but he don't have the balls to do that. Him and his buddy, they're laughing at me. Oh, he didn't say it. He said peacefully and patriotically. They're like, let's bet some. So we bet Palencia, Elmer Forte's, good cigars. So we bet a couple cigars. I'm pissed. I'm all on the internet, YouTube, scrubbing the internet. I can't find Trump saying that. He goes to NPR. I got the transcript. He doesn't say that anywhere. At the last minute, I'm ready to pay up. I was so pissed. I'm like, I know I heard that before. I remember I challenged one of my buddies and I had sent him a text message. I dig through my old text message. Bada bing, bada bang. I want you to go down peacefully and patriotically express your feelings. Oh, I should have got the $80 cigars on them then. I was like, I took it easy on them, but they scrubbed that from the internet. The internet is just wicked of what they will scrub.
It's still on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because now Elon's got it, but you can get it there. But again,
oh man, YouTube and stuff, they scrub that. Yes. And just like the other day, Melania, he said, there's Mercedes. They try to make it like he was losing his mind. And the Mercedes chick was there waving at him. They're trying to say he didn't know his wife's name. They are so good. Yeah. And they got Joe Biden over here. I'll get in trouble. Oh, never mind. Yeah. I want taco. No, I don't want taco Bell. KFC. No, never mind. I'll get in trouble.
So it's just crazy to me that people like think of this. Like you talk to liberals and they really believe it was an insurrection. Like they are convinced. I was like, you talk to him. I was like, you want to see a real insurrection?
Yeah.
Like you guys don't want to see a real insurrection.
They didn't see targets and police stations being burnt down and police really getting chased and whacked across the head with stop signs in New York during the BLM riots. But that's a different story. I'm at the point where I kind of feel sorry for them. You really can't knock because the propaganda machine of the mainstream media, they are really tough. They will get you, man. They will get you. And, it's sad. It's just sad that I walk around as one of the only few who really gets it because I'm so fair and balanced. And like I said, my rental office lady, she got it. And I was just so shocked that she was like a free thinker. And there's not a lot of free thinkers. Got people from Harvard, Yale, that they don't understand propaganda. Yeah.
The propaganda is strong. I mean, we've been dealing with it since wartime 100 years ago.
Yeah. And before that,
it's crazy.
It goes way back. People were hung in the town square for lies, and it hurts me the most to see the black community in the churches that are bought off, who are rewarding bad behavior, an adulterous DA just because she's prosecuting Trump on bogus lies, and they'd be the first ones crying if somebody from their congregational black person from their church would be brought up on some bogus charges. They'd be leading the charge to say how racist that person is, but now they're celebrating it because it's their so-called enemy. It's what the world is coming to a ugly, dark place, man.
It really is. So I just want everyone to think about the insurrection piece. The definition that I read, was it violent? Nope. No one came in there with the AR. Right. Remember, because you accused the same population, this fringe far right, you keep saying, or at least the media keeps drilling into your head, that have all these ARs that you want to take away. And there wasn't a single AR.
No weapons on the premises.
No weapons there.
No weapons on the premises.
And so how is that an insurrection if it's not a violent throwing, trying to kill and force your way into a place to take it over. Yeah. And how is it an insurrection when the sitting president is now being accused of insurrecting against himself?
I asked this female at the cigar bar the other day, I said, what do you think about the insurrection? She said, I had my babies naturally. I didn't need a C-section. That's just a bad joke. That was a bad joke.
That was an awful joke. That was so bad that I had to chuckle there. Usually you can have, usually get a little zinger. Yeah, at least you can go, haha.
Yeah.
That wasn't good.
Nah, that wasn't.
That was.
I'll make up for it though. I'll make up for it later.
You want to talk about your girl Fani?
Oh, Fanny Pack. Gotta love Fanny. Yeah. Where do you start with Fanny?
Well, so start with the basics of the RICO, and because I don't think a lot of people understand what the RICO cases are.
So Fanny wanted to enrich her boyfriend, Mr. Wade, give him like $1 million. He hasn't really did any. He's done like civil cases and stuff like that. He hasn't.
Now, do you think that? So before you go that, right? So do you think that she wanted to enrich him, or she was put on this by a higher power to attack Trump?
That's part of it, and then part of it is being her lover. She wanted to enrich him. That was a quick, fast money thing, looking out for the guy that's horizontal humping her, giving him a plus job that he's not qualified for. I can see if he was qualified for it and he wasn't screwing her, so be it. But the case should have never came in the first place. They're going after Trump for saying, go find the votes. Then I dig into it. I find out when he was saying, go find the votes, there you go. These Republican governor, is he the governor of Atlanta? Yeah, he's the governor. Mayor, one of the two. Kemp.
That's governor.
Yeah, Governor Kemp.
Of Georgia.
One of his secretaries recorded the conversation. Trump didn't have anything to hide. He said, I know they're out there, go find a vote. Now they're digging into these machines that verify signatures, and they're supposed to, it's mandatory that they go through there. They've dug into that, got a guy on trial saying, we didn't use that machine. So there's thousands of signatures that should have been verified, which Trump said, go find it. And they're guilty of that. They're saying, oh, we didn't use that machine. You're supposed to use that machine. So how many votes could that have been? And that I could see if he said, go manufacture and make up some, just make them up. I'm like, how can I defend you, Trump? So Fanny's doing everything that she says Trump is doing. She's, okay, first of all, if you take a gift over $100, you have to report that. She didn't report that at all.
That's the same in the financial industry. If you give a gift over $100, you have to report that.
But you have liberals on CNN saying she said she paid in cash. Oh, what a convenient excuse! It's not the state's job to prove that she didn't take it's her job. So if you take it, you better have receipts. I mean, what about all the people she's prosecuting and they're saying, oh, you're money laundering? They can say, no, we paid it back in cash. We paid it back in cash. You can't trace that. Yeah. That's a convenient excuse. That's no excuse. She would laugh someone out of a court.
There's safeguards on that in a lot of different places. Now, all right, so think about this. In the political sphere, for a certain side of the aisle, the Democrat side of the aisle, they're not prosecuted or held accountable for that. Let me tell you how that works in the financial industry. So we have to take ethics courses every single year. Mm-hmm. And the bottom, like one of the biggest things we talk about on money laundering for ethics is one of the biggest ways they try to do this over time is because anything over $10,000 that's deposited at a bank or invested in an investment account, you have to report to the feds where it came from. So there's always these test cases of saying, hey, if what's suspicious activity, right? So if someone puts in 3 different $9,000 transactions, that's suspicious because it technically didn't meet the threshold to report it. 10,000, but within like a 3-month period, we're putting 999.
You're avoiding something.
There's some suspicious activity here. So like there's safeguards around this stuff. We take continuing education stuff, but on the political sphere, especially on the Democrat side, there's no checks and balances and people aren't being held accountable. So again, I go back to like, why aren't you pissed off? Why aren't you doing something about it? Why aren't you raising your voice and just falling in line and vote blue no matter what? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And like seriously, like because you're selling your soul to an idea that's being propagated to you and you're not actually standing up for your own, because I believe most people are good people.
Yeah.
So then if you're one of those good people that I believe you to be, how are you compromising your core values and who you are ethically to just vote blue no matter what when you see with your own eyes what they're doing?
It's almost counterproductive, though, because it's the Republicans in Georgia who are like, damn it, now we got to look into her. We almost got Trump. The Republicans there, too. They want Trump, too.
Well, and think about this, too. So for those that don't know, Fani isn't on trial because someone caught her or the Republicans turned her in.
Right.
She's not on trial because of that.
The Republicans could care less about getting her.
She's on trial because she was banging her boyfriend who was married. Mm-hmm. And in uncovering the divorce documents, they uncovered this fraudulent activity.
Yeah.
That's how she's on trial. That's why they're there. It's
and
not
she
because
lied. She lied. She perjured herself. And she took
on the trial she did. Yes, she did.
She
But
campaign finance.
That's not how she got there, though.
No.
She got there because of the divorce proceedings of the guy she was banging.
Yeah, because of Wade. Yeah.
Otherwise, she wouldn't even be on trial. We wouldn't even
be talking about it. But she was trying to be slick, and she was taking gifts over thousands of dollars for trips, and conveniently said, I paid him back. Well, why was he paying for your trips in the first place? It's up to her to prove it. And she's already done, but the judge that she's got right now donated to her campaign. So if she's in Georgia, she may beat this because that's just how crooked and corrupt Georgia is. But they're putting a lot of pressure on her. And like they say, they have her phone records, and if they were to go into her text messages, it would be game closed.
Well, they said that you see when they went into his, and he was like, damn. He didn't know they had those texts.
Yeah, he's like,
that's
damn.
Hilarious.
Daddy like Marion Bear. Bitch, set me up. Damn it, you got me.
He's like busted.
Yeah, damn. But it's a joke, man. It's a joke. The woman that's trying to say Trump was lying, she's getting banged and she's lying. She's taking bribes. She lied on the stand. She took money from her campaign. She said, sometimes I took the cash from my campaign. Oh, that's another violation. Keep lying. And I mean, I don't even know why they're going through this trial at all. He's lying right on the stand, perjuring himself, talking about he never had a relationship, but he's on the stand saying, yeah, I had sex with her. So did you have relations with this woman while you were married? No, because I don't consider myself married. What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Technicalities, they're good with words.
I don't consider myself married.
He was coached to say that.
Yeah. Oh, I don't recall. Those are the key words. I don't recall. Did you have on a tasting room hat? No, that's just my hair. I don't recall. That's my afro.
Well, sir, it's on video right there. I don't recall.
No, I don't recall.
Like I said, I don't recall.
I thought I had a tattoo like 21 Savage on my forehead that said TR. I just don't recall. That's just crazy. But yeah.
Why didn't you get any face tattoos back in the day?
Nah, that wasn't for me. My face was too pretty, man. I always felt like Muhammad Ali. My face was too pretty to get hit or ink, so I stayed away from that.
Oh, man. All right. So what I want everyone to get through their heads on this is you can dislike Trump.
All you want.
All you. And by the way, for those that may be listening for the first time, I'm not a huge Trump fan.
Nope.
And I was not a huge Trump fan even before any of this stuff and they started coming after him just because I don't like his speech pattern with how he talks. I think he could be more uniting.
He's getting better.
Sure, but I'm just putting this out there as like I've not been the biggest Trump fan. You have.
I love Trump.
But I haven't. And I just want to put that out there. Like I'm not some Trump homer by any means.
No, I don't love everything. I think his Middle Eastern policies are pretty bad. You know, that's a whole nother can of worms. He didn't do a great job with Israel and Palestine.
Well, no, there is no perfect candidate either. Like that's the thing people gotta get through heads. What I want Democrats or liberals that may be listening to this to understand is you can dislike him all you want. But you can't compromise and say like he's being treated fairly and applaud when someone is being treated so unjustly by our judicial system,
that's the key.
By our 3-letter agencies, by these other politicians. Like, and then if you can get to that point, you got to question and go, okay, why are they doing this then? If you can get yourself to that point, then you can start to see the light of what we're talking about and how bad we've gotten as a country. In our judicial system, in our politics, we are being overrun by some communists. And if you watch some of these videos back 60 years ago, there's actual CIA agents, there's actual people that have worked in our government for a long, long time that have said, and actual communists that say, you won't ever see us coming. We're not going to overthrow you from the outside in. We're going to overthrow you from the inside out. And it's a decade long plan.
Yeah.
And that's happening right now. So they've been planning it for 60 years.
Yeah.
We've been infiltrated by communists, and it's happening right in front of our faces. And you're getting brainwashed by the bullshit that they're controlling with the media. So it's interesting when these people call fascists, like calling Trump a fascist or calling any person that's right of center a fascist.
Yeah.
You don't realize that the actual fascists are the ones you're voting for, the ones you're cheering for.
They're rooting for them.
You're so blind that you actually don't even see it.
Yeah, yeah. It's sad, and it's that all me syndrome. When it happened to you, when Hoover was spying on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and the deep state was putting hits out on our black leaders, Medgar Evers and all of those guys, we were upset. But now the shoe is on the other foot. I never thought I'd see the day where liberals and black people were jumping for joy for the deep state, the FBI, the CIA, spying on Trump's campaign and pushing this Russian.
The people that killed MLK, the people that killed Malcolm X.
Now they love them. They love them. They love the deep state now because it's happening to Trump. So that's the world we live in.
That's the thing you got to check yourself on.
Mm-hmm.
You can't cheer for unjust behavior.
No matter who it's
no matter who it is, no matter how much you hate it.
Because what goes around comes around.
Exactly.
And nobody noticed that until it hits you dead in your face.
So how privileged are you to sit at home and not be treated that way? How privileged are you? Mm-hmm. Right? That's what you got to think about. So I want to shift and pivot here to immigration. And we've talked a little bit about this on the show, but what I want to focus on today is we've got now, depending on what news source you got, we got at minimum 7 million that have been let across the border.
Those are states. Enough people to fill a state.
No, hold on. That's like more than 10 states.
That's fucking crazy.
Depending on the states you count.
Yeah.
Right? 7 million. That's the lowest number we know of.
It's probably more than that. Yeah.
That's reported. Yeah. And it's over 800,000 through February. God. So you all got to remember was, what's that Fraggle Rock haired lady, Pierre? What's her name?
Fraggle lady,
the press secretary lady.
Oh yes, John Paul's Pierre, whatever her name is.
Who just, man, has there ever been a more punchable face?
She just lies so much.
So that's what I'm saying. Is
we can't be using her as a punching bag. They'll get us
when
for
you
that.
lie and gaslight people that much, you deserve to get punched in the face.
That's true.
I don't have to be the one to do it. I'll let another woman do it. But come on. So my point is with her, she's up there trying to blame Trump.
Everything is Trump.
Because he said not to vote for a bill that, by the way, that bill, again, they won't tell you this on the media, but if you actually read what the bill is and the reason he said it, it was a non-starter from the get-go. It had like $100 billion for Ukraine and $80 billion for the Middle East, for Gaza, and then like $20 billion for the border. Okay? So that's why it was a non-starter. That's why Republicans voted against it, rightfully. Because why are we putting those other countries before our own when we're being invaded right now?
Yeah.
That's why so I just want everyone to be clear on that. And then she's up there gaslighting us and lying to us and saying that it's Trump's fault. And these talking media heads are saying that it's Trump and saying it's a bipartisan bill. There was 2 Republicans that voted for it, calling it bipartisan.
That's the thing that legitimized all the evil that's going on. It's the Republicans that legitimize things because they don't know how to explain things. And half of them want to blame Trump because whoever our House Speaker is, and all the Republicans, they need to come out and tell the people that vote for them. Yeah, Johnson or something like that. But they need to come out and tell the people, this is what's going on. They want to, it's almost like they push Trump all the way to the edge of a mountain. And then all of a sudden, Joe Biden steady pushing Trump to the edge of a mountain, talking bad about Trump and talking about his policies. And then at the end of the mountain, Joe Biden slips and he's hanging on for dear life and he's asking Trump, pull me out, legitimize me. And Trump's like, hell no, you're going to fall on that sword. You have to fall on that sword. And the Republicans need to educate their voters and let them know, no, it's Joe Biden who undid all of those laws, border laws that Trump did.
Executive
now it's not, and now it's not working for him. And he wants to blame Trump for the Republicans not going along with paying Ukraine tons of money and helping them out of this slippery slope. You got yourself into it, Democrats, get yourself out of it. It's simple as that.
It was like 65 executive orders day one.
Yeah, he wanted to open
borders.
I saw they got hotels in Texas, like the government got secret programs, and these aren't conspiracy theories. They got secret programs for secret hotels, and they told American people, you can't come in here. You can't come in here. It's for immigrants only. You know, Chicago's finding out. New York's finding out. Credit cards. You know how many homeless Americans veterans? That goes for black, white veterans? They don't get a $2,000 credit card.
About that?
Yeah.
Why is Hawaii still a mess?
Yeah.
When they got $700 and their whole shit got burnt down.
Oh my God.
People still forget about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
People already forgot about that because, again, the news cycle just pounds you and pounds you and pounds you with all this other bullshit and lets you forget about the seriousness that we're going through as a country. Hawaii, if you go to Maui, it's still a mess. Yeah. And people are getting forced out of their homes and being forced to sell their property to either the government or uber elites like Mark Zuckerberg, who's building $100 million
islands. Yeah. And I think those fires were set on purpose. But, you know, a lot of people don't understand all of these Congress people that are inviting these open borders. If there were Congress people that could replace them, they would shut that shit down right now. You know, and a lot of these white liberals that think it's so okay, it's all good until they move into your neighborhood. All you tech people, if they were sending people from India taking your tech jobs, all of you elite people out there at Epic, if there were people replacing your jobs and taking your little $200,000 a year job and someone could give someone $50,000 to do your job, it'd be a different fucking story. They wouldn't be crying then. You know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, but it doesn't work that way with liberals. It doesn't, you know?
It's seeing the big picture and not being brainwashed by the propaganda, really. That's so general rule of thumb. I've said this many times, but bears repeating, is what you have to do now is discernment. Discernment's a very powerful trait to have as a human being. And if the government and the media and Hollywood all start saying one thing, you immediately got to go, I got to question that. That's probably the opposite because they're pushing a narrative, pushing a propaganda thing. So immediately your gut reaction should be like, not trust that. Start doing some other research to figure out what they're trying to push.
I'll tell you one thing. It's easy to walk on that ice until it cracks and you feel how cold that water is. In Black America, boy, that ice is cracking. In Chicago, you got a taste of that cold-ass blue Democratic water that you've been voting for. Keep listening to those dumbass preachers and stuff and then letting them make you vote the wrong way. Donald Trump said he wanted to close the borders. Biden opened them borders up for y'all ass. You don't get a right to cry. You don't get to cry to me, Chicago. You don't get to cry to me, New York, because I warned everybody at the barbershops, everybody that I talked to, and you don't have to vote Republican, but you have to make your vote count. You have to make your vote stand for something. And boy, did they get a taste of open borders. It's eating them up. And I hate to be the one I told you so, but
well here's the thing is you got to ask the question too. It bears asking. Why?
What do you think is going to happen?
Why did Biden let open the borders and let it flood?
Because they felt that there was a black awakening and blacks are starting to pull that book back and they're learning how to read the book of politics and they're realizing, hey, these guys aren't doing anything from me. We haven't gotten anywhere in 60 years. And now the Democrats, they're savvy. They say, we don't need you. We don't need you. We don't need you no more. We just got 7 million new voters in this month, you know?
So it's the great replacement.
And they're replacing us. And people are starting to realize they're being replaced.
Black liberals, if you're still consider yourself a black
they better be black Trump fans. They better hurry up and jump on that Trump bandwagon. And they're waking up. They better jump on that Trump wagon now.
Replaced. And here's why. And so then furthermore is why are they going to these quote unquote sanctuary cities? Why those cities?
Those are the biggest voting blocks right there. That's not like Vermont and stuff like that. It's not Vermont. Vermont's usually
pretty liberal. Why aren't they going to Vermont?
Yeah, because they don't want them there.
Why? No. Why aren't they going to Vermont? Why are they going to New York City? Why are they going to Chicago?
I don't think Vermont's already locked up for the Democratic vote. They're trying to swing those swing states.
No, these aren't swing states. Illinois is not a swing state. New York's not a swing state. California's not a swing state.
What do you mean as far as
why
voting?
are they going to, for voting, they're true blue.
I don't know. What do you mean why they're going to from New York and stuff like that?
So what happens when they run another census?
Oh, it replaces, it shows the population.
Shows the population, and then what happens?
The black population is steady going down.
Doesn't matter about the color. It matters about the amount of people. So what happens when you have more people in your city and more people in your state? What happens to political seats?
Do you get more? You get more congressional seats. That's what I didn't think about that
they
part.
Want more blue congressional seats.
So they can have House. They had a majority vote all the way around. Yep. They want a super Senate. They want the House and they want the Senate. So
it's not just a replacement.
I didn't think about that part. It's even a deeper.
So it could be because a lot of these blue cities are seeing an exodus, like California.
Yeah, they're replacing it.
So they're either replacing that or they're trying to get a supermajority to have more blue seats. Yeah. So there is a whole bunch of strategy.
It's so much going on. That's another tangle web. I didn't even look into that part. That is true what they're doing. And they're talking
most people don't know political science.
Yeah.
They don't know how do these congressional seats get made? Yeah. How do these Senate seats get created?
Yeah.
Why does California have so many electoral votes versus how Wisconsin has, right? So most people don't even know the basics of political science. And that's why I said, take a poli-sci class, pick up a poli-sci book, understand our history a little bit better and understand how this stuff comes together. And it'll help you open your eyes to some of their bullshit. And then just if at the very least, it'll educate you on how our constitutional republic is set up. And
they're talking about voter suppression. And they always feed this to the black community. And
because you're too dumb to get an ID, right?
And that's what you're trying to say. And on top of that, they'll turn around and the people that are replacing you in your neighborhoods, you're giving them illegal votes. Now they're pushing for illegals to be able to vote while being a non-citizen. That's crazy. That's voter suppression there.
So first of all, no one that doesn't pay taxes should never be able to vote.
But let the Democrats tell you they want
because they want to be able to beat any Republican side.
Yeah.
Especially Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the point of it. And that's why you got to start asking why. Stop just taking things at face value.
You know when immigration is going to stop? One group of people you're not going to fool for a long time. Those are Hispanics. And their vote for Trump is just mesmerizing liberals' mind. Like, hey, we're opening the borders for you and you're not returning the favor for us. The Hispanics don't like those liberal laws. They're not for abortion.
And here's the other thing, especially like the Mexican Hispanics or some of the ones that have typically come to our country.
Yeah.
Some of the hardest workers we know.
Yeah.
I know you know some, I know some, and I got friends that are just, incredibly hard workers and have built great businesses. Mm-hmm. But then you let in unvetted people like Honduras emptied their prisons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You got African.
Haiti's doing the same thing.
Haiti. Oh my gosh.
Haiti's a whole other can of worms.
Bad spot.
Yeah.
What is it? MS-13? Is that their game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is some of the most brutal killers on the planet. And so you have these people coming in unvetted. So let's assume again that we're good people. All of us in America, we're majoritarily good. And we want to assume that most of the immigrants are good.
Yeah.
And they're coming here with pure reason. But there's still going to be bad ones that
Pockets
come in.
of bad people everywhere.
And if we're not vetting them, we're putting our American citizens at risk. Like this young woman, Lakin, who got raped and murdered by an illegal immigrant.
Could you imagine if Canada just opened their borders and said, every child molester, you don't have to register anymore. Every guy with super debt, every guy that owes this and you have warrants and your life is in shambles in your home country, America, you can come to Canada and get a fresh start. You get a fresh credit score. You're not a registered sex offender anymore. You just got a clean slate. No other country will do that except America.
Right.
That's just crazy. Can't even get into Canada with a DUI.
And here's the thing with taxes too. If your country, forget America for a second, if your country has enough money to send other countries money, you're being taxed too much.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true.
Because we don't have any tax money coming our way.
None at all.
From any other country. To help our poor citizens, to help our veterans that are on the streets, to help our black neighborhoods that are underperforming.
Man, I don't know what.
Right? So like, you got to ask these questions. Like, you got to think further and stop taking the media at face value, because they've proven over and over again that they lie to our faces. So we got to wrap this up. But I just wanted to
before we go, what do you think about student debt loan forgiveness?
It's a ploy for votes. So it's not, so stop saying loan forgiveness or debt forgiveness. It's debt transfer.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a finance guy.
The rich getting richer with this, to me. Like, all of these college educated students, they have a shoe up in the working class game. That's like people who work at Epic and stuff like that. All of these richer people are getting it. I don't know if there's a cap of how much you make, but if you get a college degree, you have a shoe up on society.
Well, first of all, you made a choice to go to school.
Yeah.
And then others were responsible and made a choice to pay down their debt.
Yeah.
And now some of these people are getting a gift, but really they're transferring that debt to the rest of us. Yeah. So like, that's the thing.
I'm paying for someone else to go to college, pretty much.
Paying for someone else's debt.
Yeah, yes. That's crazy. But here's
the other thing, through their taxes, they're also paying for their own debt, just not as much as they were. It's getting spread they get a tax break. 330 million or how.
So basically they're getting a tax break.
They're getting a tax break.
Yeah, they're getting a refund, basically.
We got to stop calling it debt forgiveness or student loan forgiveness, because it's not that. It's a student loan transfer to the rest of us to pay those taxes.
And it's almost like,
so he's just trying to buy votes.
And it's almost like a bank that loans someone money and the government comes in and say, I'll pay their debt to the bank. So the banks are, the people who loaned those loans, Fannie Mae and stuff, they're really the ones really making big money off of this, because now they don't have to worry about this late payment or people who just ditched out on their college payments or having to garnish wages. They're getting it all up front now.
Yeah.
That's a fucking bonus, but yeah.
So think about that again. If you were one that got student loan transfer, because it's not forgiveness, it got transferred to the rest of us paying tax citizens, you're also paying taxes. Like, you're still paying some of that down, because the government doesn't make money on its own. It's not a business. It takes money from us.
You think I should go back and tell Biden he needs to pay me that $45 for my GED?
Yeah,
I need to get that $45. I'm getting that
buy a few cigars.
Yeah, I'm getting that $45 GED pack payment. Pay that debt off for me, Biden.
Reparations. Reparations. There you go. $45. Here you
$45 for that GED.
And speaking of, like, that's just kind of funny too. In a sad way, funny is, you see the black community that's been talking about reparations forever and ever and ever, and you see these illegal immigrants getting $10,000 credit
My
cards.
goodness, that's crazy. Now, that one right there blew my mind. I'm like, they're giving these guys $10,000 credit cards.
So again, how are you not pissed off?
We're tracking where they spend the money.
Sure you are.
Wow.
Sure you are. And then you know where it's going? Amazon. And these other biggest corporate.
It's going right back there.
It's going right back to their rich buddies. Y'all know it.
And they're living in these plush hotels, but hey, you guys voted for it. Deal with it. Deal with it.
Well, we're all having to deal with it. That's the problem. That's why we're sitting here trying to wake some people up. All right. That being said, I know we were all over the place today, but my question still remains. Why aren't you pissed off? How are you not pissed off yet? And when will you get pissed off enough to actually do something about it? The change starts with us. We have to be the change. I've talked about this before. Get into your PTA meetings, get into the school boards, get into your local governments and remove some of this bad judicial stuff, bad actors that are getting paid off for 10 grand. Be someone that can't be bought.
Wake up.
Wake up and get some. And again, here's my deal with Trump. If Trump's the guy this year, which I think he is, if they don't kill him first, I think he should be the president again. And if he doesn't fix the problem, if he doesn't lock up all these people that have been corrupt, then we lock him up and find someone that will.
Yeah, we're going to hold his feet to the fire. And like I said, when you ask for open borders and you want males to play in female sports and your daughter gets a concussion, what did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen? Don't act surprised now that it's happening. What did you think was going to happen? Virtue signaling is not the same as being virtuous. Look up the two definitions. Stop hanging your hat on virtue signaling and thinking you're doing something. You're not. In fact, you're a worse person for it, not a better. So, that being said, Spartans, remember that good and great are the enemies of possible. Lead like a Spartan today.